Good afternoon. It's Angela with the Mount Airy Public Library. We have the chance to hear another fairy tale from storyteller Brack Llewellyn. And our fairy tale today is the Bremen Town Musicians. I can't wait to hear it. You ready? Let's get started.
All right, everyone gather round. Come on up close. Invite the adults if they want to come listen as well. Now remember, for each one of these tales, we have to use both our ears to listen, right? And be very quiet, pay close attention. Most importantly, turn on the old imagination so that the words I send out through the air can form pictures in that wonderful mind of yours. Now, this story is very old. This story is over 900 years old. It's one of the Brothers Grimm's probably best known stories. And it's actually so popular that in the town of Bremen, where this ends up, there's a statue to the four main characters. And right there it is. A donkey, a dog, a cat, and a rooster. We're going to tell you about them right now. So listen close. This is the Bremen Town Musicians. Years and years and years ago, there was a farm. And on this farm lived these four animals along with the people, of course. A donkey, a dog, a cat, and a rooster. Each one of them was very useful on the farm. Of course, the donkey helped till the soil and carry things for the farmer. And the dog would guard the farm at night, make sure nobody got there that wasn't supposed to be. The cat, he was in charge of keeping the mice away, and he did a very good job. And of course, the rooster was in charge of waking everyone up in the morning. They all four lived on the farm for many years. And as they got older, they began to realize that maybe they weren't quite as useful as they used to be. The donkey couldn't carry quite as much as he could when he was younger. The dog sometimes fell asleep at night instead of guarding the farm. And then the cat sometimes just didn't have the energy to get up and hunt for mice. And the rooster, well, sometimes even he slept past dawn. And the animals were afraid that the farmer was going to give them away and they'd be separated. They were such good friends. They didn't want that to happen. So among themselves, they decided that they would leave the farm and go to the town of Bremen and become musicians, because each had a voice of their own and they loved to make music. So one evening, when no one was watching them, the four of them together left the farm. They traveled through the woods for the longest time and across the countryside, and they came to a small cottage that they'd never seen before. They peered inside the window of this cottage, thinking there might be some food inside. But what they saw were four men, four thieves. And they were surrounded with all the things they had stolen from other people. Really sort of bad guys. And they were having a grand time going through other people's possessions. Well, our friends here cared nothing for the stolen items. They just wanted some food. But they knew they had to get rid of the thieves first because they thought they might be a little hard to deal with. So they came upon a plan. They went to one of the windows of this little cottage, and they did exactly what you see here. The dog got on the donkey's back. The cat got on the dog's back. The rooster got up on top on the cat's back. And standing there, they all began to make the noises that they make as loudly as they could. Now, you might be able to make these noises too. You might want to make them along with me here. First, the donkey began, yawny, yawny, yawny. And then the dog, of course, began to bark. Woo, 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 woo. The cat, meow, 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 as loud as he could go. And the rooster, of course, crowed. Now, just imagine all four of these sounds happening at the same time, as loud as they could. It was such an awful noise that it frightened the thieves, and they leapt out the back window of the cottage and ran away into the woods, leaving the cabin, or the cottage rather, for our four friends. They went inside. As I said, they cared nothing for the stolen goods, but they did find some food, so they had a good meal, and they settled into the cottage for a good night's sleep under a roof. Well, everything was fine until late that night. The four thieves came back to the cottage to see if that strange creature they'd heard outside their window was still there. They sent one of the thieves to a window to look, and he peered inside the window. And when he did, he saw two red things glowing in the dark. What he thought he saw were a couple of glowing embers in the fireplace, but it was really the cat's eyes. You know how a cat's eyes will glow in the dark? He couldn't see anything else. It was simply too dark. So as quietly as he could, he crept inside the cottage to see if that beast was still there. But he got too close to the cat, who was still awake. And the cat reached out and scratched him. And he cried out. And when he cried out, it woke up the dog and the donkey and the rooster. The dog ran over and bit the thief on the leg. And he staggered back, and then the donkey turned around and kicked him as hard as he could. And then the rooster flew up to the roof of the cottage and cried out in his loudest voice. The terrified thief ran from the cottage back to his fellows and told them that they couldn't go back in there, that the cottage was haunted by this witch, this terrible witch, and he got too close to her and she scratched him. Well, that was the cat. And then a man with a knife cut his leg. Well, that was the dog biting him. And then some great awful beast hit him with a club. Well, that was the donkey, of course, kicking him. And worst of all, outside up on the roof was this great judge calling out his name, telling him he should go to jail. The four thieves were so terrified they never came back to the cabin again. Four friends lived there for quite a long time, actually. They did make their way to Bremen, and they did in fact become musicians, and their legend carries on to this day, as we said, in this statue you will find if you go to that town today. And that is one of the Brothers Grimm's most venerable stories, one of their oldest and most beloved, the Bremen Town Musicians. As always, you have been a great audience. Keep sharing these stories. We'll be back with some more very soon. Thank you.